Okay, so a Florida sixth grader was arrested after his refusal to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, which led to a confrontation. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read this article. I'm going to do a little discussion about it. Then I'm going to read you some of the ridiculous comments that a lot of adults placed under this article. So, let's see. It says a sixth grader is facing misdemeanor charges after having a confrontation with a teacher that began after he refused to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The February 4th incident allegedly started when a substitute teacher told the 11-year-old boy to stand up for the pledge at Lawton Childs Middle Academy in Lakeland, Florida. According to the arrest affidavit, the boy refused and told the teacher that he thought the flag and the national anthem are racist against black people. According to a handwritten statement from the substitute teacher, she asked the boy why he didn't find somewhere else to live. And the boy replied, "They brought me here." The teacher claims that she responded by saying, "Well, you can always go back because I came here from Cuba, and the day I feel I'm not welcome here anymore, I will find another place to live." Excuse me. The teacher then called the district office because she didn't want to continue dealing with the boy, according to her statement. According to the police report, the situation then escalated. The police say that the student refused to leave the room and repeatedly yelled at school officials, calling them racist. According to the affidavit, the boy yelled, "Suspend me, I don't care. This school is racist." The affidavit also alleges that the student threatened to beat the teacher. The student has been charged with disruption of a school facility and resisting an officer without violence, both misdemeanors. This arrest was based on the student's choice to disrupt the classroom, make threats, and resisting the officer's efforts to leave the classroom, the Lakeland Police Department said in a press release. The 11-year-old's mother, Dakara Talbot, has not returned the People magazine returned People's call for comment, but she told the local news outlets that the school's characterization of her son's behavior is incorrect. On Sunday, she told Bay News 9 that the teacher and the school overstepped their authority. "I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm hurt," she told the station. "My son has never been through anything like this. I feel like this should have been handled differently. If any disciplinary action should be taken, it should have been with the school. He shouldn't have been arrested." The Polk County Public School District issued a similar statement. The student was arrested after becoming disruptive and refusing to follow repeated instructions by the school staff and law enforcement. The statement reads, "To be clear, the student was not arrested for refusing to participate in the pledge. Students are not required to participate in the Pledge of Allegiance." The substitute teacher was asked to leave campus immediately after providing a written statement. The school district continues, "We do not condone the substitute's behavior. We respect our students' right of freedom of expression, and we are committed to protecting that critical right while ensuring peaceful classrooms so all students can learn." Okay, so what I feel about this, I feel that the teacher, she came off on the young man right, by telling him he should find another place to live. Now, what choice does this 11-year-old boy has as far as where he lives? This is an 11-year-old child, and she shouldn't have said the things that she said just because he would not stand for the pledge. And the school rules state that a child does not have to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And when he didn't stand for it, she should not have said anything to him and respected that he did not want to stand for it. All right, that he did not want to stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, and that should have been it in there. But instead, she went on ahead and started provoking this child, and you don't know if she was like hovering over him, and all the other school officials was around him forcing him to stand up. He might felt threatened himself, you know. So you really can't like get down on this child too bad, because a child can feel threatened about a bunch of adults surrounding him trying to force them trying to do something they don't want to do or something they don't believe in doing. And I hear that the substitute teacher is no longer substitute teaching in that county and everything. But I believe that what is a 11-year-old child going to do to adults? You know what I'm saying? He resisted arrest non-violently. You know what I'm saying? So I believe they should just drop the charges from the kid. He's a child. All right, he's a child. It's nothing that he can do to adults. All right, and they need to take into account that he got all these school officials surrounding him, trying to force him to do something that he don't want to do. And that's what I feel about it. I feel that the teacher was wrong, and I felt like the teacher escalated the situation. And she should have done better. So I'm gonna read some of the reactions. Let's see. All right, now there's a lot of comments go. It's similar to this one I'm finna read now. It says the student was arrested after becoming disruptive and refusing to follow repeated instructions by school staff and law enforcement. The statement reads, to be clear, the student was not arrested for refusing to participate in the pledge. Students are not required to participate in the Pledge of Allegiance. Then why TF does the headline still reads like it does? It says agenda much. And there's a lot of comments saying that, and people are not even really, they were really overlooking that what the teacher said to the student. The teacher never asked him why he wouldn't stand anyway. And after he gave her his reply, she shouldn't have replied the way she did. And these people, a lot of these people, these adults on here is overlooking that critical moment. All right. And then this other comment said, the mother said things should have been handled differently. She's right. Teach your kid respect, and this would never happen. Now, what I got to say about that is that this would never have happened if the teacher would just left the kid alone and not harass him. Let me get to some more. All right, then it said, while it's true that his arrest came sometime after refusing to pledge allegiance, the reason he was arrested was for disrupting class and causing other students to be deprived of an education. Let's get it straight, people. Okay, you can say that, but when people say the pledge, when the kids say the Pledge of Allegiance, it's before they even being taught. All right, now the teacher never escalated the situation like she did. She escalated the situation. All right, and that deprived the students of an education. Do you want to get that? So let's see. Let's see. Then this other person says, given the kid's attitude, it must be interesting to experience what mom, dad, and assorted friends say in the household during their get-togethers. What does that got to do with anything? That doesn't have anything to do with it. Who said the kid had an attitude? Maybe the kid caught an attitude because he was being surrounded by a whole bunch of adults trying to force him to do things he didn't want to do, or that he didn't believe in doing. So, and let's see. All right, now this other person says, hey mom, maybe you should have handled raising your child better, not the school handling it differently. Teach him to respect his elders. The reason we are having so much of this is because people like this mother don't know how to raise their children properly. Just tell them that they can do and say anything they want. This kid will be in jail by the time he's 16. Alright, so here is another ignorant comment by another ignorant adult simply overlooking what the teacher did. You know what I'm saying? Overlooking that the teacher provoked this child. Just overlooking that fact. All they can point out that the kid got unruly. That's all they can point out. And I'm sorry, folks, but to me, if this was a white child, these comments wouldn't be coming up. And I don't care who said whatever, they would say the same thing. No, they wouldn't. I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry. It's crazy. Now my computer run a little slow. So this other person says, so the teacher told the student to stand up and he refused. If the kid had the freedom not to stand, why did the teacher call the district office? Why was police involved? Why was he asked to leave the classroom? Someone is lying. And that's right, somebody is lying. Because, you know, there's no reason for the kid to act the way he did if he wasn't provoked. Alright? And other people saying, okay. Then the other guy says, kids have no respect and we have their parents to thank for this. This is what needs to be addressed. Child broke the rules and he got punished. End of story. And actually the child did not break the rules. The child followed the rules and did not stand up. It was the teacher who came and provoked him again. You know, it's all these adults on here. It's overlooking the fact that the substitute teacher provoked him. Alright, and let me see this one. Alright, and this is the first comment I seen that, you know, I agree with. It was his right to refuse to recite the pledge. When the teacher instructed him to stand and he said he wouldn't, that should have been the end of it. Instead, she decided to keep needling the kid with her smarky remarks. Even the school district believes she acted improperly. It was her actions and comments that resulted in a totally unnecessary escalation. He was within his rights to refuse to recite the pledge. And in response, he was continually pushed to the point he became combative. He was in the wrong if he did indeed threaten the teacher, but I don't believe he ever would have made any threats had he not been unnecessarily unnecessarily provoked in the first place. Thank you very much. And that's all I'm saying. Like it's just like few comments that's like this that's really seeing the whole total picture, you know. And you know, a lot of people talking about he didn't have a parental permission on file, that he didn't have to stand, but the school rules said that they don't have to stand if they don't want to. Alright, and then another person says, if a child isn't mature or smart enough to know what the Pledge of Allegiance is or what it means, then why have children say it at all? Children certainly aren't being taught what it means. They are just told to recite it word for word. Let's see. Alright, there isn't a discussion on what it means and how we feel about it and how it should be understood. There is no need for children to be saying it anymore. We're not afraid of communism like we were in the 50s and 60s. Frankly, it is unnecessary in today's society, and it entirely within everyone's rights to refuse to stand for either the flag salute or the national anthem. Alright, I'm gonna continue on. God dog, computer. Go down. Sorry, folks. Alright. Personally, as an adult, I don't agree with the flag salute, and I certainly don't recite it myself. But that is because I have a greater understanding of what it means and implies. I certainly don't force children into doing what I myself refuse. So, you know, I can keep going on and on. You know what I'm saying? But basically, you know, this child was provoked. He feels the national anthem. He feels pledging allegiance to a flag You know, he felt that his race is against black people, and he did not want to stand for it. And that's what he believed, but he should not have been poked and prodded by this teacher, nor should he have been poked and prodded by the school officials. Regardless what a lot of these ignorant adults is on here saying this the kid was in the wrong, overlooking the doggone fact that this doggone teacher said this ridiculous stuff to this child. Alright, so we all have to remember, you know what I'm saying, like, a child can feel threatened too. You know, a child can feel threatened too, and it's a shame that today that we are arresting 11-year-olds and giving them records for something as petty as this. Believe me, there's nothing that this 11-year-old child could have done to anybody except somebody probably their age or younger. This is the 6th grade. I remember being 11 years old. That is a child. That is a child. Child is barely even in puberty. You know? And these adults making these comments, y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all need to take the whole story and not like pick at it so it can make it seem like the child is wrong. Because if this was a white child, it'd be a whole different thing. Y'all be saying that this doggone teacher provoked this child, which is the truth. And the substitute teacher did not follow the school district policy for the simple fact that the school district policy that a kid do not have to stand for it. So she did not follow the policy. That's why she's no longer a substitute teacher in that county. Alright, so the student was not in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? So they should drop the charges. The teacher should be reprimanded. And you know, if somebody don't want to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem, it's people right, and y'all should leave them alone and don't doggone provoke them, and then try to make sure and try to make it like it's the child's fault. And this is the sad state of America. You know, this is the sad state of America. You know, not only that a teacher is provoking a child, you know what I'm saying, but also that adults that done live life can't see past the kid quote unquote acting erratic, if that is even the truth. You know, so you know, y'all tell me what y'all think about this. To me, I think it's pretty disgusting for the child to get arrested. I think it's pretty disgusting what the teacher did to provoke the child to that level. It's disgusting the school officials to help the teacher provoke this child. You know, it's disgusting for him to be arrested for resisting arrest in a non-violent way, which I don't know how he can resist in a non-violent way. You know, it's disgusting that these adults in his comments are talking the way they do, especially people say the child is going to be in jail by the age of 16. We don't know this child. We don't know how he's raised. You know, so you know, adults, get a grip of yourself. Look at everything, the whole truth, everything that was stated. Alright, but that's about it. Now, again, y'all tell me what y'all think. This is BG from RTB. Bakuth Shalom.